What's up? Why is the car on the ground? Well, I tell you why. Because the car is a big car. I'm 6'1", but I still can't reach everything. And I need to reach up high today. Why? Because we're going to install this EVO high flow intake. We're going to see what the big hoopla is all about. I am running E85 on my car, and this is supposed to be close to a 23 rear wheel horsepower increase. So let's get to it. Hey everyone, I'm Dean Hoover. The channel is Hoover Maneuvers. If you want to know what a Hoover maneuver is, that's when you do something really accidentally or on purpose and it has a great result. That's a Hoover maneuver, at least if a Hoover does it. I have experienced in the past a Big Michael maneuver, and you know who you are. Roll over, land on your wheels. All right, so today we're going to install the cold air, or on a car we usually call it a cold air intake. This is a high flow intake. Why is it high flow? Probably because this outlet from the filter is so huge. Has this silicone reinforced tube here, and that's going to increase the flow, and they're saying upwards of about 23 wheel horsepower on the E85 tune that I should see an increase of. So anyway, what do we got to do to get to that? First thing we got to do is we have to expose the top of the intercooler. If you didn't know, the intercooler is below here, and off to the side over here above the intercooler is the air intake for the motor. So I've got to take all this off. Basically it's going to have some push pins because this car originally had a windshield. It's got the hood scoop. I left the hood scoop on because I like how it looks. It's going to be a T30 and T25 nuts there, and then these clips, and another T30 over here. And we're going to get this off and we'll see the intercooler. Okay, we got this off. This covers off. That is the air intake for the engine. This is your intercooler, and back behind here is your transmission cooler. You guys can see that down there. Here we go. Transmission cooler down there. So that is off. This piece that covers right here does need to come off with that. Now, the bed does not have to come off. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove that tube. The way we're going to remove that tube is we're going to undo this hose clamp from the air cleaner and then pull it through. So let me do that next. Okay, that tube is out. Again, all I had to do was disconnect the hose clamp from the top of the air cleaner. There was nothing else holding this in except for right here. It goes around this little lip, and that's if the factory even did the job. Who knows if mine wasn't in that little lip, so it just pulled right out. Easy peasy. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is remove the air box itself. To do that, there are two mounting bolts right here, 13mm bolts. They go to the box, and then there is a tube that runs between the air box and the turbocharger. To get to that tube, those behind your boost tube. So I'm taking this boost tube off, not only so I can see it better, but to make the job much easier. So I'll do that next. Okay, boost tube removed. Now, remember, if you've got the rising rate fuel pump tunes on your car, don't just yank this thing out of here and forget about that. So you can take it off from the intercooler and the turbo and just lay it here on the ground out of your way. Now I have access to this worm gear or hose clamp up here. I'm gonna take this off, these two 13mm bolts out, and the box is gonna come out. Okay, box is out. Undid the hose clamp that was right here. Those two bolts that were right here. Now I got a big hole inside of my frame. So this is where the air box was connected to. This is going to come off next. Remember that we've got PCV. Sorry, we got PCV going from the valve cover down to this air box and putting oil through your turbo. So we're going to work on doing that next. All right, so the way we're going to do this next part is we're going to take the hose clamp off the turbo, and we're going to take the hose clamp off the valve cover up there, and leave it connected to the tube because that's held on with a pinch clamp or crimp clamp or whatever you want to call it. Okay, the tube is out of there. We got a 1/4 inch socket for the top hose clamp here, 7 mil there, and I can tell you it comes off really pretty easy. It's not a struggle to get it off. But see that glistening in there? It's because I don't have a catch can EVO. Where's my catch can EVO? All right, on to the next steps. Okay, like I said, because I don't have a catch can yet, and this was where it coming out of the valve cover, and that would normally go to the catch can. Instead, it's going through the intake, which is putting oil residue in my turbo. Anyway, since I don't have a catch can, we're going to take this off, and we're going to put it on the new tube. And it's going to go on the smaller hole closer to the turbo. Now look at the orientation. See how this is a pre-vent tube? So when you take it out of here and put it onto this one, you want to keep the same orientation when you put it into here. Okay, got that hose swapped over. I've made some reference marks. You see the yellow marks on there, and I put the same reference yellow mark on the new tube and on the hose so they line up. Now, if you're not running let me get the right terminology here. If you're not running a boost recirculating valve, install the supply plug in the larger port. So, I'm not running a boost recirculating valve. So we're going to put that on there, and we're going to secure it with a hose clamp. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put this onto the turbo, and we're going to put the hose up there back onto the valve cover, and we're going to put the new T-bar clamp, much better than the last one that came on the car originally. We're going to put on the loose lead. We're going to stick the other end of this boost tube up through the hole up there, and again, leave everything loose until we've got final assembly done. Okay, I got the new silicone tube. It is right there, sticking up through where the air filter is going to go. That is pretty darn snug. It's not going to go anywhere, so I feel pretty safe and securing everything down here. I've got my PCV clamp back on right over there, and I've got my T-bolt on, and this is the orientation that I believe is going to work out well so it doesn't interfere with this or the electronic wastegate down here. So I'm going to put the boost tube back on, and we're pretty much going to be secure down here. The rest of the work's going to be up above. And you see this really opens up everything right here. Okay, boost tube is back on. It's installed up here at the top. See my clamp orientation. This is what my clamp orientation looks like here. Boost tube coming out here. Intake tube right there to the turbo. Make sure the boost tube is all the way on the turbo. It's easy to not get it all the way on. You can feel back here that there's a lip that the tube should be touching when it's all the way on. Make sure you do that. The next steps are all going to be up here. We're going to assemble our bracketry to connect to that hose and mounting points so we can put on our air filter. So here is our bracketry here, and we've got this piece here, works like an air horn, and we're going to hook it to our bracket, and we're going to make sure we got it in the right orientation here. It's going to be like so. There's another view. This is how we're going to put it on. EVO supplies all the screws you need for this. Now we're going to mount this in the car. So there's some factory bolts right there. We're going to take those out. Don't drop them. Don't dent your intercooler. I'm going to use a short extension for this one. All right. Take your T-bolt clamp. We're going to put it on in this orientation. It's going to be a little tight. This other bracket is going to go where there's an existing bolt. It's already drilled. Put that in there. And we're just going to start that screw because we want to leave this loose, because between here and here is the big old air filter. All right, let's get this baby in there. That's loose. Slide this on. Nice. Everything fits just grand. We'll snug that up. Snug up this hose clamp over here that it came with. Snug the bracket back up. All right. For all intents and purposes, she's installed. So we're just going to double check a couple other things we have to do with the cover, and see what we have to remove to make room for that air filter right there. Okay, I want to show you on the instructions here. I got to take it from here because I don't have this set up. Without the hood, the roof scoop for the air, you got some dividers here that you need to take out. So you undo the couple of bolts here, and then you take them out over here. Now mine is totally different because of this hood scoop. It's got all this here. So I'm gonna have to do a trial and fit here, and I'll let you know if I gotta cut anything away. Other than that, I'm just gonna put this thing back together. All right, sorry I couldn't do this on camera. I mean, this takes 3 hands, I only had 2, and a 4th hand to hold the camera. So anyway, if you've got the hood scoop like I do, you don't have to remove those dividers like the EVO instructions say. Those dividers are on vehicles that don't have the hood scoop. Everything fits in there just so. So I'm gonna finish buttoning this thing up, and we'll close out this video. What's that all about? Okay, got it all buttoned up. Again, with this roof scoop and the big air filter down there, no interference at all. It's all good. Everything looks normal. I suppose if I took this out, I might get a little more air, but I haven't decided yet when I do the cage if I'm going to do a windshield or not. But she's on the ground, and relatively easy job. A little bit of struggle maneuvering this tube around in there. It's a little on the stiff side. I believe it's steel reinforced. I couldn't tell you for sure. But yeah, there you go. EVO high flow intake kit installed. I'll take it out and we'll do some testing on it. I'm probably going to do some trail riding next weekend. By end of this month, we do have the big UTV invasion, or is it UTV takeover in Coos Bay? I will be there for that. Incidentally, since we're going to be in the sand, and I've done a lot of power improvements to this car, I feel like I'm a little bit under paddled. So, paddles are off. These are 34-inch Scat Track Demon paddles, 14 paddle. And I'm just kind of blowing those things off now with this extra power. So I'm going to try out the new Sandcraft Destroyers. These are a 35-inch by 1350 16 paddle, and it's now Sandcraft's own paddle. These are Slayers. These do have a little bit more cup to them compared to these, are a little more flat. So we'll see how that goes. And also got the Sandcraft Destroyer 35-inch front tires with the diamond pattern on them. And I believe these are a little fatter too. So 35-inch paddles. Where were we just a couple of years ago? I remember going down in paddle size on the Rhino to get a little more power. So anyway, thanks again for watching. Let me know if you liked the video. Please give it a thumbs up if you do. Share with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. And if your friends haven't subscribed already, tell them to subscribe. But thanks again, guys, and we'll see you on the next video.